Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. So here's another updated deck profile for you guys. This time it's on my Thunder Dragon deck. So sorry if I've been absent for the last couple of days. I've been pretty busy with work and all that. And right now I'm still waiting on getting my Dusted Gold for my hero deck, which luckily I should have by tomorrow hopefully, and I'll get a hero deck along with the combo video out by tomorrow. But for today, again, it's just going to be Thunder Dragons. I decided to go back and kind of like rearrange some of my ratios, think about like what I wanted to tech in my main deck, and see what I wanted to switch out on my side deck. So I finally found some options that I really enjoyed, especially with my own new tech that I've run in the main deck. I think this deck's going to be really good, especially because like no one will ever see this next card. Well, one of the cards I'll show you coming, and yeah, it's just really fun. And for those who wants to build like a low budgeted competitive deck, Thunder Dragons is definitely a great option to go. Now, some of the cards I have are pretty pricey, but luckily there are other options out there that you can run instead. So we'll get to that momentarily. Alright, so let's go ahead and get started. Oh, let me go and move the camera down a little bit there. There we go. Alright, so starting off with the main deck, got to play 3 copies of Thunder Dragon Dark. You discard it to search out another copy of itself, or if it's banished, you can search out any other Thunder Dragon card from your deck. But with all the Thunder Dragon cards, you can either use the hand effect or the banishment effect, one or the other, so you can't use both in one turn. So just don't misplay that. But what's cool about Thunder Dragon Dark is that it's just, you know, you could use Allure of Darkness, banish it from your hand, and boom, you get you get a free search regardless. 3 copies of Thunder Dragon Roar. This is the card that either adds a Thunder Dragon that's banished in your grave back to your hand, or you can banish this card to special summon a Thunder Dragon from your deck. So it's really good, and also the fact that you can just basically send this card from field to the grave as well to trigger out that special summoning effect is also pretty nice. Next we got 3 chickens. This is the Magical Mallet and Monster Reborn of the deck, so definitely a great card. Honestly, if they were gonna hit Thunder, if they ever hit Thunder Dragons, this is probably gonna be the most correct hit to go because this card's just nuts. But we'll just have to see until the next ban list. Until then, I still think you should play this card at 3. You definitely need 3 of the OG Thunder Dragons, just because, you know, it's just a good way to boost up your resources. I always like to go one at a time, discard 1, add another, discard, add another. So it's like I don't search out both at the same time. I just try to get my resources in the grave so that way my Thunder Dragon, Colossus, or Titan can be protected. Of course, 3 copies of the Matrix, just because, you know, it's a power boost, and also if it's banished, you can search out another copy of it, so it's really nice. And it's just a good way to trigger off your Thunder Dragon Titan effect. I'm only running 1 duo just because, you know, like, it's searchable, and I felt like 2 was kind of a brick, especially if you don't have the ways. If you happen to open up with both, it can be like, wow, that's just bad. So I think 1 duo is just fine. Alright, so that's it for the Thunder Dragon package. Now we're moving on to the side packages. Running the Pseudo Thunder is Battery Man Solar, definitely broken. The fact that it can also produce a token which you could just use to make the Colossus is nice. So, yeah. And I'm running 2 copies of Aloof Lupine. It's just another copy of Gold Sarcophagus, so another good normal summon for the deck, so I figured why not. And for the hand traps, I'm running only 6 this time, rather than the 9 I was running before. So running 3 Ash is just the most versatile hand trap at this format. And 3 Dimension Shifter, just because, you know, if you're going second, you can spring this on your opponent as long as you have no cards in your graveyard, and basically, like, it forces your opponent whether to just continue with this turn and risk losing resources, or just basically just end the turn overall. So Dimension Shifter, definitely an amazing card to work with. It only becomes dead if, you know, if you do have cards in your grave, but after that, you know, like, if you're going first, like, or second, like I said, you just spring this, you never really have to worry about it. Alright, so moving on to spells now. Running 3 copies of Allure of Darkness, you know, draw strength. A lot of your monsters are dark monsters, and it's just a good way to get rid of, like, any dead cards in your hand. Like, again, Dimension Shifter becomes dead after you use it the 1 time, so once you play it once, you know, you can just use it for Allure of Darkness fodder if you want to. 3 Instant Fusion, you know, I still love playing this strategy. Instant Fusion is definitely a great way, especially going second, because you can play cards like Thousand Eyes Restrict. Just take a monster, go into Linkuriboh, or if you just want to extend with Kuminari Attack, you know, that's an option there too. 3 Thunder Dragon Fusion, it's really good for recursion and just to bring out your big boss monsters. The only one of is Gold Sarcophagus. And then for the only traps I'm running, in fact, I'm running 3 copies of Lost One. It's a low budget version of Impermanence, but what I also like about this is that it permanently negates your opponent's monsters and cuts their attack points in half. So, Lost One is just like my own personal tag. I love this card to death. This card is amazing. And again, nobody ever sees it coming, so it's really good against the mirror match. Whenever I'm up against Dracos or just like any anti-meta deck that likes to play Inspector Porter, I like to use this against them and just basically just laugh at my opponent. So, yeah, it was either this or Dinomischus. I just preferred this, so yeah, that's the gist of it. Alright, for the extra deck, I'm running 3 copies of Thunder Dragon Colossus. If they limit this, it'd be fine. I mean, the deck has a lot of recursion anyway, so but Colossus is still a good card to play it at 3 right now. You know, definitely pick up a playset if you haven't already. It's only like a $2-3 card, I think. So, yeah. I'm only running 2 copies of Titan. But again, if Colossus ever got limited, I'll probably just bump up Titan to 3 and just go with that. I'll just prefer 2 because, again, I got the recursion to handle it. For my instant fusion targets, I'm running 1000 Ice Restrict and Kiminari Tech. Now, I am running Starving Venom Fusion Dragon in my extra deck, mainly because I side out Super Polymerization. I don't really like to main deck it right now because, like, it usually has to depend on the matchup whether or not I want to use Super Poly or not. Because, like, Super Poly's not good against every deck. For my Link monsters, of course, got to play the Summer. You know, like, definitely a good card to extend with your Thunder plays. One Wee Witch's Apprentice. I might actually switch this out for B-Cop instead, actually, just because, you know, it does weaken light monsters, and Titan, unfortunately, is light. But, yeah, like, I'll debate on that. One Linkuriboh, of course, you know, since, you know, you are running Thunder Dragon Matrix and 1000 Ice Restrict, so Linkuriboh is definitely not a bad option. I'm running my Nightmares, Phoenix, and Unicorn. And I am running the BLS Link monster, but if you don't have this, you know, there are other options out there. Like I mentioned, you could run like a Borlo Dragon instead, or just like complete the Nightmare package with Cerberus if you wanted to. Cerberus is actually not half bad this format, so. And plus, if you just like co-link it with some of your other Nightmares, you know, it just becomes a brick wall at that point. And of course, I'm running Boral Sword Dragon. Let me move that a little closer this way. That way, like if I put Colossus in attack mode, attack once with him, switch into defense mode for Boral Sword so you can attack twice. So it's just a good way to OTK your opponent. Alright, so that's it for the extra deck. Now we're moving on to side deck. Side deck is pretty self-explanatory. 3 Denko Sekka. I don't like to deal with back row heavy strategy, so Denko Sekka is just a good way to bypass that. Just, you know, lock out your opponent's back row and boom, you're solid. 3 DD Crow against certain matchups. I like to use this against the Orcust and the Salad matchups. 3 Mind Control, you know, like if you want to just take control of one of your opponent's monsters and link off with it, that should be fine. As I mentioned, I'm running 3 Super Polys on the side. I don't like to main deck this card, because again, it's not good against every single matchup, and I just don't want it to be dead. And then lastly, 3 copies of Eradicator Epidemic Virus, since, you know, Colossus is dark, and you could just use it for this card. Just wipe out, like, back row, you know, like, I usually like to use this against the Sky Striker matchups. You know, just, like, take away all their spells, because that's really all that deck plays, is just spells. And if they can't really, like, use them, the deck will struggle from it, so, and yeah, it's just really funny. I also like to use this against the Magical Musket matchups, you know, just to call trap cards, or, yeah, mainly you just want to call their trap cards, because I can easily get around their spells, but, yeah, it's really up to you. Well, that's all I got for you guys today. Hope you guys enjoyed this, and I will catch you guys again next time.